What's up, everyone? It's Scotty with MoneyVest. Tomorrow is the big day. We've got inflation numbers coming out bright and early at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. I will be live to cover that report, so make sure that you do drop in on the channel at around 8 a.m. Eastern, and I will be live to cover the inflation data. I'm going to break down what the consensus is in this video. We'll talk a little bit about the market's sell-off, especially the Nasdaq here dropping a little bit over 1%, the Apple's release of the new iPhone 15, all the different product lines that they launched, and also talk about Oracle's biggest drop since 2002. And of course, the market's here selling off because we're not out of the woods yet. So, hope you guys enjoy this video and find it helpful. Make sure that you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Link to our Discord, Patreon is going to be down below. I opened up 5 more spots if you are interested in joining and taking advantage of the members-only private videos, the buy and sell alerts, the access to intrinsic value spreadsheets. Everything's going to be included. So, link's going to be down below, and we'll love to have you on board. So this right here is the economic calendar. Tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern is when the CPI is scheduled to come out. This is perhaps the most important economic indicator. The reason I say this is the most important is because this is literally what the Federal Reserve is watching, along with PCE. That's the preferred measure of inflation, but it's all inflation at the end of the day, to basically guide them in their venture of raising interest rates, keeping them where they are, or cutting interest rates, right? So inflation is extremely important for the economy and for the Fed and for the markets. So month over month, consensus is 0.6%, which is going to be a little bit higher than what the prior number was. On a year-over-year basis, it is expected to accelerate from 3.2 to 3.6%, and core, so ex food and energy, at 0.2%, and it's expected to come down on a year-over-year basis from 4.7 to 4.3%. So very, very important numbers. Any sort of hotter print, anything over 3.6, anything over 4.3, anything of an increase on a month-over-month basis is going to cause some problems for the market, could send us even lower. So Oracle suffers worst day since 2002, and I did a video on Oracle just a few days ago talking about the earnings, going over the earnings expectations, talking about how, in my eyes, in my opinion, the stock right now does trade at a little bit of an expensive valuation, not to mention it's bogged down with a lot of debt. And of course, there is competition, but nonetheless, it's performed really well. But after the earnings were released, they did miss on revenue, beat on EPS, but the stock still dropped over 9 to 10%, I believe. I can't remember how much it was down today. So Oracle on the day ended up being down a little bit over, I think, more than 9%. Wow, 13%. That's pretty crazy. So back down to low 100s, 110s here. So we'll do a deep dive on this company once again in a few weeks. I'll give you guys an update. We'll go over the intrinsic value, although we did go over the intrinsic value in my other video as well. So make sure that you do check that out. And right now, of course, it's kind of trading above that higher high in that range. So it makes sense why it's starting to pull back a little bit. So the new iPhone 15, 15 Plus, 15 Pro, and 15 Pro Max are here. So 4 iPhones. We were watching that live stream for a very long time, but up until there were some copyright issues with respect to the music that was being played on the Apple live stream. But nonetheless, the iPhones are going to start at around $799, and the Pro models are going to start at around $999. And another key announcement was a brand new Apple Watch made with 95% titanium and 72 hours of battery life. And of course, Apple is going all net carbon neutral by 2030. They're doing a lot of things with recyclable aluminum, recyclable, all the materials, copper, alloy, cobalt, everything that's being used in these Apple products are from recycled products, materials, and rare earth materials. So that's going to be pretty significant sort of initiative in their sustainability and kind of helping the planet. So that was, again, big part of the presentation as well. Kind of talking to Mother Nature and Mother Earth, and then of course going over the different products and services. So network, satellites, I'll do a breakdown on all the products in a separate video, but bottom line is iPhone 15, 15 Plus, 15 Pro, and 15 Pro Max are here. The new Apple Watch Ultra 2 and the new Apple Watch 9 is also here with their S9 chip. And satellite road assistance for iPhones, even if you are off the grid. USB-C coming to the iPhone, and iPhone's the lightest and the thinnest borders ever due to the titanium case, and titanium material is the most durable, most strong, while also being the lightest. So this is going to be included in the Pro models for the iPhone. So Nasdaq closes 1% lower on Tuesday as Apple slides. Apple was down on the announcements here, 1.7% as tech suffers. Oracle sheds over 13%. So this right here was the entire state of the market. So Tesla here down over 2.2. Meta here almost 2%. Google down 1.2. Amazon down 1.3. Microsoft, Apple also selling off. Oracle, Adobe, Palo Alto Networks, Fortinet, they were all selling off here on the day, with financials and energy were the only two sectors that were doing somewhat okay, with energy up over 1.76%, financials up 68 basis points, we got utilities up 24, and everything else was down. In the last 1 week, we've got utilities, energy, financial, defensive, healthcare, everything pushing higher, with real estate, materials, industrials, and technology selling off. And in the last 1 month, of course, we got energy, technology, comm services, consumer cyclicals pushing higher, but everything else is down. So we've got a little bit of a divided market, not to mention markets right now are coming up to that resistance. And of course, we're still in the context of a short-term downtrend at the moment, which I'll go over in just a minute. So lean hog, sugar prices, volatility, lumber prices, orange juice pushing higher, with palladium, silver, cotton, platinum all selling off. Bitcoin and Ether are starting to see a little bit of that recovery. So Bitcoin's back up to almost 26K and Ether just under 1,600 at the moment. And this right here is going to be where we're at. So support level getting validated at that 300 SMA for Bitcoin at just over $25,000, and back up to 26,000 right now. And Ether again just breakdown, then recovery back up to almost 1,600, which actually would be a resistance for Ether at the moment. Now crude oil prices, again, very important metric. We continue to move higher. It was up another 1.7% on Tuesday. And right now it's more or less flat, but on the week it is up over almost 2%. And in the month of September, oil prices are up over 6%, folks. We've been talking about this in our market updates for quite some time. This is not something that you can ignore, because this is going to play a role in the future inflation reports. It's going to. It's just there's no way around it, right? Because energy prices, oil prices affect almost everything, right? Everything is transported on energy, right? Energy is required. So if oil prices continue to go higher, the cost of those products and services are also going to increase, thereby putting an upwards pressure on overall inflation. So next resistance is going to be $93 per barrel. So this right here is the level to pay attention to. And of course, support level is going to stay put in the low 80s, but that's a massive green candle. And this report is not going to reflect this, right? This report is going to reflect the gains from last month, which was 2.2%. But of course, the October CPI report, which is going to be for the month of September, is going to reflect this massive green candle and the fact that oil prices are moving higher, and they're up over 6-7% on the month so far. Now going over to the S&P 500. So this right here is the downtrending channel, and I specifically mentioned in my yesterday's video talking about how we're not out of the woods. Yes, a very strong rally for the S&P and the Nasdaq, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we are once again moving back higher, because there's still a lot of economic headwinds with respect to GDP, the inverted yield curves, and of course not to mention inflation numbers and the Fed meeting later this month. But this right here is the downtrending channel within which we are still trading, and support level is going to stay at a 43.50, 43.25, and a resistance up to as much as 45.33, 4,500. So we're still getting a little bit of that rejection, and the S&P down about 0.5% on the day today. Nasdaq here also down about 1%. So once again, we're still in the context of this short-term downtrend, so making lower highs and lower lows right now. And the next support is going to be at 13,000 with a resistance sitting roughly at 14K. And that's going to be in line again with this lower high and this previous resistance that we need to watch and pay attention to. Tomorrow, we've also got the ARM IPO. I've already done a couple videos on that, so make sure that you do check that out. And of course, not to mention, we have the CPI at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. We've got the PPI, which is going to be later this week on Thursday. So if you come back to the economic calendar, so PPI and retail sales. Retail sales are also very important for the market. That's going to be on Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern on my brother's birthday, September 14th. And of course, we've got quadruple witching on Friday, because it's the third Friday of the month of September. And of course, you got import-export prices, industrial production, and consumer sentiment also coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern. So lots to unpack. The week, I feel like, is literally just getting started, because up until the first couple days, there wasn't really a lot of economic catalysts. But tomorrow is when it's going to start to get pretty exciting for the markets again. Now going over to Apple here first. Apple definitely selling off quite a bit, down about 1.7%. Now, in that report that I mentioned that Apple is on average up over 8% and it actually outperforms the S&P, was during that time, not the day of the launch, but it was during their June quarter earnings and their September launch. Apple did actually move higher here, so from 172 to up a little bit over 190, so up over 10.6%. But then, of course, selling right back down after the catalyst from China that they are going to be banning iPhones in state firms and government agencies. And of course, today's launch event also knocking down the price a little bit further. 1.7% support level is going to be a 175, exactly where the price is trading right now inside this green rectangle. And of course, we get a breakdown below this level. Well, guess what? There's going to be one happy person. That's going to be me. Next support is going to be down to 157 for Apple. My fair value is going to be in the 120s. Talking about Amazon, Amazon also pulling back after a very nice rally yesterday. So it was up a little bit over 3.5% yesterday and pulling back down 1.3% today. I did some buying yesterday for Amazon. Resistance is going to stay put at 146. So this right here is going to be that level to watch for Amazon, and support level is going to stay put at 137 down to as low as 126, and my fair value is going to be sub $100. So I've broken all these stocks down with my intrinsic value and my no-brainer buy targets in the Patreon video. That's for members only, and that video goes over 20 stocks, 20 highest quality, highest growth stocks with my fair values and my buy targets as well. So link's going to be down below if you're interested in checking that video out for yourself, and of course creating a shopping list of companies to buy at when they are trading at fair values. Talking about Tesla here, Tesla also pulling back after a very strong day yesterday. It was up over 10%. In fact, it was higher on the day today. Well, guess what? The resistance that we marked on Tesla's chart, we got up to that level. So 277.67 or 278, around those levels, was that resistance. We got up to that resistance almost exactly, 278.39. Not exactly to the T, but getting very close. And then, of course, selling right back down. Sellers stepped in to bring us back down to 267. So a pretty significant sell-off intraday. Maybe not so much on the day, down over 2%, but intraday it was down 4% on the day here. So next support is going to be down to 260s, all the way down to 240s again. And resistance is going to be at 277. And the reason is because there wasn't any company-specific catalyst to make that 10% move in the first place. It was just only an analyst upgrade, and analyst upgrades do kind of fade over time. It's not a strong enough momentum to keep that going. So just because Morgan Stanley upgraded Tesla to $400 price target, suggesting Dojo supercomputer is going to be the next big thing, that's all great, but it's only valid for one day, maybe 2 days. It's going to fade very quickly because it's not something company specific. It's not something that's going to drive the revenues. It's not like a new announcement or a partnership or something that Tesla is doing that's company specific that's going to drive all the earnings and the financial statements are going to improve, right? It's not like that. Analyst upgrades, whether it's on the downside or on the upside, do fade fairly quickly, and that's what we're witnessing right now for Tesla, getting rejected at 277. Support level is going to stay put at 262. Talking about NVIDIA platforms, I don't know why I keep doing that. It's not I don't know why I keep doing that. NVIDIA platforms, support level is going to stay put at $401, so that right there is going to be that support. I wouldn't be surprised if NVIDIA ends up at those levels, considering the negative divergence we've been talking about, and of course a resistance all the way up to $500. Support level is going to stay put down $401 per share, kind of like a double support here for NVIDIA at those levels. Talking about AMD, so Advanced Micro Devices had a very, no, this is different. Advanced Micro, I was going to say, like, there's no way AMD was up that much. Advanced Micro Devices very, very flat, so no change. You know what? I'm going to remove this line here. We're still in the context of very much of a downtrend, and a more important support is going to be a $99, close to $100 per share for Advanced Micro Devices. Talking about PayPal, so Cramer issued a very nice buy rating on PayPal. Of course, I only say this jokingly, but 1.4% green on the day after PayPal was a quote value trap, according to Cramer. So the market's read on this is starting to be, again, very, very good, and resistance is going to be kind of all the way up to $69 to $70 inside this gap here, and support level is going to be at $57. So that right there, of course, is going to be the range within which PayPal right now is trading. Square here also up a little bit on the day, up over 72 basis points. Again, we're very much inside this green rectangle of that support. And of course, a lot of demand has presented itself in the past when we have traded at these levels. A couple times in the past, back in June 22, this right here in October 22, and of course, May 23 as well. So this right here is going to be that level to pay attention to for Square. Talking about Meta platforms, and Meta here down about almost 2%, back down to $302 per share. But this right here is going to be that support level to watch for Meta, a very, very nice support level, and resistance is going to be all the way up to 326 for the company. And right now, I would say we're still very much in the context of a downtrend, because I would still label this down as a lower high for Meta right now. So that's going to be the downtrending channel with the support at 299 to as low as 257 for Meta platforms. Talking about Netflix, and Netflix here also down 2.4%, so getting rejected at that resistance, so not quite getting all the way up to that resistance. In fact, you know what, we can lower this down because this has been previously a lower resistance. I don't know why I marked that to be a little bit higher, probably because of this level from back in February of 22. But bottom line is we are getting rejected back down from that level. RSI is coming down. MACD is also starting to show signs of some weakness. Support level is going to stay put down to 410 for Netflix moving forward. Google, on the other hand, also coming down. My option expires this Friday. Man, if it ends up below 135, the buyer is going to be pissed. The buyer is going to be super pissed if this ends up below 135 by Friday. So we got 3 more days. Of course, inflation numbers coming out. I have a feeling that it's possible. It is certainly possible for this Google option to expire below 135. This is about as close as I've ever gotten to not closing out my contract and the price literally flirting around the strike price. So down 1.2%, 136 is where we're at. The buyer's break even is 137.40. We're below that level, so there's no possibility or no risk of early assignment or early delivery. But next support is going to be down to 132. That's what I'm waiting for Google before September 15th. So I can keep my shares and I can keep the full premium. Next up is going to be Microsoft, and Microsoft here on the day down about 1.8%. So this right here, again, is the lower high and the lower low. So again, we're watching this downtrending channel for Microsoft, and next support, very strong support, is going to stay put down to 313, 314 for Microsoft here. Next up, we've got Enphase Energy. Enphase getting a little bit of that momentum back up, 95 basis points. And you should have seen the amount of solar panels Apple had when they were going over the sustainability of 2030 and being carbon neutral by that year. And of course, talking to Mother Nature. So a lot of the things that they mentioned, well, they want to use renewable energy and they want to be, again, carbon neutral. That there, folks, is the biggest company taking the biggest initiative to improve the quality of the planet and, of course, do what's best in their power to make sure that they are focusing on sustainability. Enphase is making that, making that dream come true. Obviously, Apple and Enphase don't work directly with each other. Like, it's not like Apple's using the Enphase as microinverters, but Enphase is a big player and a key player in this overall move towards solar and renewable energy. So that's why my bullish thesis stands long term. And that's why I believe that solar has a lot of potential long term. So we've got a good deal area here. I actually did buy some more Enphase today in the 120s, low 120s. Resistance is going to be all the way up to 128, all the way up to as high as 151 moving forward. And finally, we got Shopify. Shopify here down about 2.5%, so really just consolidating sideways. Resistance is going to be at $66. Support level is going to stay put at $54 per share. So lots of consolidation sideways at those levels, and I wouldn't be surprised if it does come down to kind of fill this gap right now for Shopify moving forward. So hope you guys enjoyed this video and a complete update on the markets. We've got a massive catalyst coming out tomorrow, so inflation numbers are due, along with, of course, we've got PPI numbers on Thursday. And then, of course, the consumer sentiment, the retail sales, all the other catalysts also are going to be dictating where the markets end up going right now. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, find it helpful. Make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Link to our Discord, Patreon is going to be down below. And as always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.